What do you think changes with age as we all grow up? If our siblings grow up, we all start doing different things, and some families aren't really as close anymore in the sense of spending time together. So,
Hmm.
say we all have really busy our own families, now we have extended families and in laws, and now we have children that are really busy. How do you feel about that? Like now, as you're coming out of college?
I think it's striving for like a sense of community that has been a lifelong thing that
Mm.
I struggle with because I do understand that all of us are going to like change and grow apart or life is just going to change as people have kids or move away. But, you see a lot of other families that all still happens and they all still get together like it's no big deal. Um
Partly, I see that when people all live close to one another, or
yeah.
maybe they have one cousin they're really close friends with.
Mhm.
But I had two really big families, like so on both sides growing up. And I wouldn't say that I see or hang out with hardly any of my cousins. And I've got like a good, I don't know, 30 to 40 cousins.
Right.
And we're all over the country
Mhm.
now, and same thing with all of the aunts and uncles. They're in all in different states.
Yeah.
So it's not the same environment as maybe when you were a little kid and you all lived really close to the grandparent
Right.
and the grandparent passes away and now everybody moves their jobs, their kids, like all the things happen that change the dynamic.
Well, that's kind of what I've heard. I feel like across the board from people is like once their grandparents pass away, because they're like grandma or grandpa was kind of like the community that they always met at. Like we always go to grandma's house for every holiday with all of my aunts and uncles and cousins.
Mm-hmm.
Then the moment that their grandparent, one of them at least passes away, kind of shifts it to okay, now it's the next generation that focuses on their family unit. So like, okay, now I only hang out with like my mom and her sisters and maybe grandpa comes to wherever we end up like choosing to go, right?
Yeah.
That's what I feel like happens because there is going to be one person, who kind of like coordinates all of those things. Um,
Well, part of it, when that, say, the oldest matriarch, patriarch of your family pass away,
mm-hmm.
or if they move away, I went through that. That
Yeah.
changed a lot of what was going on for how we were or were not able to get together for holidays and things of that nature. But and then as time goes on, I would say things got really difficult as all of the siblings started to have much older kids. And now that
Mm-hmm.
everyone's married and they have their own family, you have to prioritize your own family. And
Right.
I was one of the ones with like the oldest kids, right? So it's like we were really super busy doing a lot of things. We moved out of town for a little while. So I mean just the dynamic changes,
Yeah.
and then getting divorced and your father dying is definitely changed any dynamic with that side of the family, unfortunately.
Yeah. No.
Everybody has their emotional drama about whatever. And it's unfortunate,
Yeah.
but you just have to do the best you can do and power on, which is why, like, I realize with my parents being out of state too, I definitely feel like I'm the matriarch holding it all together. Like, I'm the glue for our unit
Yeah.
from now on until I pass away, and it's probably going to be on your shoulders because, like, the relationships you build and when you do and don't have people, I think is what makes people stay together. So if you would you say you'd agree with this statement? So families that all get together all the time still, do they have other places to go or other people, or is like this is all they have? Like they don't have any other group.
I think it can be both. I mean, yes and no.
Hmm.
Um, like I know people who will kind of combine like their groups,
Mm-hmm.
right? So like someone getting married is like, okay, I'm bringing my mom and my siblings over to, where we always used to meet, and now it's all kind of combining together. So now you have an even bigger group of people. And then, your brother also is bringing his family, and it just keeps going where this like group is building.
Yeah. So
But
I do
I
feel like
don't
it
know.
ebbs and flows. So we were
Yeah.
talking about this with all the, so I have a lot of 25, 30-year olds in my
Like,
downline right now that don't currently have any small children. And so it's Christmas and things are different and they're odd. Like we don't have little kids running around. We don't have the same family thing that we did for a while. But it's going to change and that's going to come back. Like say when you and your sibling get married and have kids, and then it'll be a whole other thing. We're going to grandma's. We're going to open gifts. Like so, I think we go through these different waves in our life of that, but we are all responsible for maintaining it with the people that we love and that we still want to get together with, and it's what does everyone prioritize,
yeah.
and for me, in the end, it's also how well everyone is enjoying each other's company, so whether we like it or not, everybody has their opinions. There's politics, there's hurt feelings, there's deaths, there's changes, right? There's
Yeah.
divorces, and it changes the dynamic. And sometimes people don't really enjoy
The change.
spending time together anymore. And it's
Yeah.
still okay. You don't have to have animosity towards anyone. I don't know. Some people like traveling or going away. Some people like going skiing. Some people want to go back and visit the grandparents. And honestly, it's really hard to think of an entire family going back to the grandparents. There's not space, or it might be overwhelming for them.
Well, yeah.
Health problems.
I think it's like just that sense of community that can be hard, especially like, going through your 20s. There's so much change happening constantly with you and how busy you are and what's going on. Plus, like everyone else in your family is going through other things. That's such a hard time where, like, you want the nostalgia of like being a kid again, right? Like, oh, I just remember doing this on all of these holidays with all of our family. So the nostalgia of it, I think, is what the big thing that like tears a little at your heart or pulls at your heartstrings a little.
I think it's because when you're a kid, you're unaware of all those other things going on in life. So everyone is just nice to you and loving you, and here's your cookie.
Yeah.
Go watch a movie. You're running around playing and having fun. You may not have even realized that it was uncomfortable, intense for the older generation. There could be people that were fighting, that people were having financial problems. There's just things that could be going on. But when you're a kid, you get to live in this like happy bubble of you're just getting presents and I have a new toy and there's yummy snacks and like it's just fun. So you kind of put that together with the vibe of, okay, we were all together. And then there's people out there who never even had that at all, where they don't have that family and they want to try to build that for themselves. But that's why I do think community and building friendships where you could still create that environment is so important. So I grew up where a lot of our holidays we would have stragglers.
Yeah, I remember that.
We were a super open house, like somebody at work have nowhere to go, someone got divorced, someone lives out of town, hey, come on over for dinner. We'd have like a random people
and I remember that.
Whatever. And it was fine. It was fun. And we all really enjoyed having someone new to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's hang out. And I know it's probably awkward for them to think they're like crashing the party, but they really weren't. They really weren't. We weren't having, oh my gosh, this is so private.
Well, I think like growing up with that has really made me like want that so bad. So like, I talk with my partner how much I just want to, when we have a house, we are hosting everything and anything. And even to this day, like if we have anybody who doesn't have anywhere to go, we're like, come on over. We don't care. Like we want people to feel like they have a place, like a sense of like, community. Also, holidays can be really hard for people sometimes if you're far away or don't have that. But anyways, growing up with that feeling of community makes me want to do that.
Mm-hmm. Well, of course, we crave something that was good and positive. We also crave something we didn't have.
Yeah.
And I think people want that, but they also have to realize that they have a role, in the way that you are with your siblings, the way you are with your cousins, the open door, inviting friends over can create that community. So it's like, hey, we're having Easter. Who wants to come over? We're barbecuing.
Yeah.
We're gonna have an egg hunt for anybody under 10. Like, do a thing.
Then we'll do an adult
And
one.
sometimes you can, to create those communities, you can have that on a different day than the holiday, so that you start to build that fun time with everyone.
Yeah.
Or when they're like, oh, I have to go have
this actual holiday on the actual
I'm gonna go have this with some other family member.
Well, it's just like people do was it like Galentine's Day with their girlfriends before Valentine's Day, or you do Friendsgiving around Thanksgiving. So you're still getting like different senses of community, different aspects.
Mhm.
It's just you might have to do it on a different day. I know people who do Thanksgiving or like holidays the day before with one side of the family, and then they do actual Thanksgiving with the other, just so they can fit everyone in.
Well, sometimes with space, a lot of people travel. It can be hard.
Right.
And I mean, it just gets harder and harder as time goes on. Like for me, watching like what I had to deal with when I got married, and then as everyone started getting married in those families, and then when my brothers started getting married, it just kept changing. And then everybody's balancing their in-laws and whether or not they're in town.
Yeah.
And it just was a whole thing, And I was actually remember being relieved when two of your grandparents moved away to Florida, because it was less hard. Because that was a lot to have to go to two houses on one day. And then I was like, okay, well, at least I don't have to do that anymore, because I'm just tired. I want to also feel like I relax on some of these holidays.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's hard also going through like, that change in your 20s where you're like, am I supposed to go to my boyfriend or girlfriend's house for, something like, yes, I want to spend time with you, but I also want to spend time with my family. And I feel like it's also been like hard on you as like a parent where you're like, I want to spend Christmas with my kids. So it's just like a constant battle of trying to please everybody.
Yeah.
But I'm like, why don't we all just go to one house and just call it a day? That's where I'm at.
If everyone's together and they can get along, it would be wonderful for everyone to be able to provide, like, let's all get one big meal.
One big old happy
something
family.
Like I try to be really open-minded, and I do never want to be like some terrible mother-in-law where I tell you or your future husband like, oh, I can't believe you're not going to be here for Christmas.
Wow.
I mean, I realize I'm going to have to share you with his family because like say the guy you're with now, if you guys get married, his family's all out of state.
Yeah.
I'd love if we could get some of them to move here. But it's like, well, that may not be something that'll happen. But, also, like I would totally be like, hey, if they want to fly out here, I'm totally fine whether you host or I host, and we all get together in one house. Like I want to be able to create that. Like your brother's dating someone, their parents actually live 5 minutes from me. So I said, hey, I'm going to come over on Christmas, and so we actually got together and watched football on Christmas in the evening, and it was really super fun because the stress was over. We weren't cooking, the gifts were done, just hung out, had a drink, watched football. It was great.
It's also kind of the funny thought that we have after traveling for the holidays of like who we're gonna go see, where we need to go, and all that. Every time we get home, we always say like, if we just had kids, we could just not go anywhere, and people can either come out here or we'll make our own new traditions. Because like,
well, see, that's what starts.
Exhausting.
So now you'll see how it changes it, and also some people can't afford to say, oh my gosh. First of all, it's absolutely ridiculously expensive to travel at Thanksgiving and
just
Christmas.
To begin with.
Like that is in my mind, not the time I'm going to travel to go see anyone.
No,
it's busy. The weather's bad for us. But the cost of the flights is triple. Yeah. And now, can you imagine? Now you're gonna have a couple kids, and then you have to go buy 4 $500 plane tickets. I mean, so families are dealing with a lot of stress when it comes to stuff like that. Like, it's not like they don't want to go see the grandparents.
But it's almost like I would much rather, like, let's say if I lived out of state and wanted you to come visit me, I would much rather you just pay for a flight. And I don't want Christmas presents. I don't need anything. Your existence being here is more than just the present for me.
Well, I think that's my one thing to consider when it comes to the spending. Just saying, hey, for Christmas, the kids just want you to be here.
Yeah.
If it's a financial issue. But the main thing is trying to be open to balancing it out the best that you can, and maybe you get together with different groups doing different things. Like we've considered, oh, well, is it age appropriate now to say, hey, do you guys want to have like a cousin sledding day? Or let's all make cookies. But that means someone has to host this giant mess.
Well, I also think it's a little harder.
Let's all have pajama night and watch Christmas movies.
Mm-hmm.
Have hot cocoa. Like there's things you can do
traditions
to celebrate whatever it is you're celebrating.
Yeah, I think it's hard just like getting used to those transitions of like making your new traditions because everybody is changing so much. Because like I can only imagine what we do now is not at all going to be the same in like 10 years if me or my brother had kids.
Yeah,
like we all would change what we do. But then everyone else needs to also like realize that and see that in other people's family. Like, oh yeah, they're also changing traditions because there was something else going on.
Yeah, I think it just has to be understanding. I mean, obviously you hear horror stories online and people's in-laws are upset because they do something the same every year and they don't want someone to come rock the boat or change it. And a lot of people who have new babies don't want to do it the same way. And I can absolutely understand not wanting to take a new baby to see 16 people.
Especially in the height of flu
germy
season.
hands and put their mouth all over your baby. And I'm like, no, don't kiss my baby. Yeah. There's
I can't or maybe you
pop by and say hello and leave. I don't know. Are you in the same town? If not, just say, I'm going to skip this year.
I've heard some horror stories about people having new babies and their in-laws being upset that they won't even fly out to a different state with their like
to put a newborn on an airplane.
Yeah, what a great idea.
I mean, I don't know. To each their own. Some people think they're just going to rub their kid in the dirt and let him grow whatever immune system he can get.
But you can only do so much.
Yeah, so you have to do what's best for you. And I think it's like going back to us talking about people just respecting one another and the way they choose to do things. Like no one needs your opinion on whether or not their baby can go on an airplane at 1 month old. No one needs your opinion. If they ask, I mean, but it's like, okay, I can respect that this is what it is. It's 1 year. And new families sometimes want to start creating their own traditions for whatever it is they want to do with their family. They're like, we celebrate Yule and we are going to do
something different.
This.
Yeah. That's where I feel like a lot of that like pressure comes from is like respect. I feel like people don't want to respect that you have different things going on, or they seem like upset that like, oh my gosh, why aren't you coming out to our state because it's Christmas, and then it's like, I don't want to spend thousands of dollars just to fly.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I've been the victim. I've understood that. My your dad's mom 1 year was super mean to me, got really upset and name calling, told me I ruined the holiday because for Thanksgiving we flew out to meet my birth family because they would all be together. Everyone was off work.
Yeah.
Of course, I wanted my husband with me while I meet my whole entire birth family. I met like everyone on 1 day. I'd never met him before.
What an opportunity.
And was just so upset, and that I was like, I was ruining her holiday, which I was like, first of all, it doesn't seem like you'd care if I was there or not. But I guess just didn't want her, son not to be there one time.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was really hard. Like, you do have to realize that your kids are going to grow up and they're going to have different lives. And you're not the center all the time.
And I don't know if this is true or not, but I really do feel like it is the like mother-in-laws where I feel like that has become the biggest issue, is mothers-in-law for either side is where they're having the issues. It's not like the father-in-laws that they have issues with for the holidays and all that. It's always the mother-in-law, whether it's the husband or wife's parent. just
honestly,
both
it
sides
seems like it's always the mother-in-law
of a little boy.
of a boy.
It kind of is. What are you doing to make sure that you are fostering these relationships, Mom?
Well,
Well,
I will tell you, like, I can see the difference between the way that a relationship with my daughter, even if we're close and have friends or are friends, and then when I have my relationship with my son is very different. He's much more closed off, just like does his own thing. And I was like, man, I hope one day he marries someone that like wants to have a relationship with me, because I would feel like I'd be really disconnected from that
that's how I feel.
family if the girl didn't put in that effort to want to create that nice, cute, close bond with me.
Yeah.
But it's not like there's any forcing or, oh my gosh, you have to come here and you have to be here at this time. Like every year I am so flexible. I'm like,
We just make
whoever you guys are dating, I say, what are your family's traditions? What times do you get together?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll totally do the opposite. I'll do something else. Hey, you guys want to get together on Christmas Eve? I'll do something Christmas Day. If you guys want to have Thanksgiving early, or you want to come over for dessert and cocktails, I try to be flexible because all the things are fun. I literally don't care.
See, I don't care about the thing. I'm like, I want the people.
Yeah.
And I don't care when, where, what we do. I just care who's there.
Well, and then so this year you guys were gone for a week, and it's like you came back. We actually spent New Year's together, and it was really fun. We did our crab legs.
Even though none of us were able to stay up till midnight because we're all old people now.
I was awake at midnight. I was brushing my teeth.
Same. And then we literally we went Happy New Year. We fell asleep. That was it.
Yeah. He goes, Happy New Year, and I'm like, oh, come here, give me a kiss with my toothpaste. No,
literally the same thing.
We just weren't. I don't always want to stay up or go out.
No.
I know sometimes we will just watch stuff on TV, but it gets kind of boring sometimes.
No, I'm kind of excited for the next like 5-10 years because, like, I have you, and then like if we have our own family, and then like I really hope that my brother also marries somebody who wants to like be a part of our whole group, and their whole family comes, and like we just have this huge community that we all have built.
Really fun.
We've combined communities. I want that so bad.
Just gotta make sure you marry someone that's on board with that mentality, and doesn't have a person who's gonna be a dead weight to you having community.
Yeah.
And there's some times when I feel like it's like we were all getting together with a lot of the little cousins, but now a lot of you guys are adults. It's just not the same.
No.
And I feel like the older kids don't really have the patience for the little kids. So I'm like, wow, you already aren't even acting like you enjoy it when if you were to get together with all the littles that were running around screaming and doing all the things,
That's different. They're not, I don't know, they're not my kids. It's just different because like we all grew up as cousins when I was old enough where I wasn't always playing with them anymore. So it's like a very different relationship than I probably would have with like my older cousins, where we did grow up playing together. Then as we got older, we weren't playing anymore. We were just chit-chatting like certified yappers.
Well, I have noticed like it's different for you. So you were the oldest cousin in Colorado, like, of all the kids. So when we would get together, you were almost more babysitting than you were.
And that wasn't fun.
Getting to enjoy stuff. And I was like, that's not great, right? But you didn't have like I mean, when you were little, you were still playing with like little boys that are just running around being crazy.
And you can only take so much of that.
Yeah, so I don't
but
know.
They still were way younger than me, so that was still the same thing. It's like, yeah, I'm playing, but I'm like,
but you were babysitting.
But I'm babysitting.
Essentially,
making sure they don't hurt each other.
Yeah, like you're 12 and you're riding a hoverboard. I remember you were holding hands with like a 1-year-old cousin and like riding around on the hoverboard. And I mean, it was still fun, and you could find cute things to do with them, which was nice of you.
Babysitting.
But it's not the same as having like 3 girls your same age where you're all like, let's go braid hair.
I know. I love like, I have an oldest cousin who's like just a few months older than me, and we have so much fun. Like we've been the same age, so when we get together, like we have the same interests, and I don't have to babysit her. She doesn't have to babysit me.
She just didn't always live by us.
But she has the same feeling. It's like, I can only babysit so much. Like,
Yeah.
It's not fun
It's not
anymore.
the same.
And I remember coming in like, and
It's
they
so
got
funny.
sitting and listening to all the adults talk and like talking with them, but I'm like, I don't fit in this group either. Like, I'm gonna go.
You're like, I'm gonna go to my room. No.
I'm gonna go home now.
It's hard. It's hard. Like, you want to like hang out with your mom and be like, I'm gonna make a pie. Or I'm gonna used to like get together and, you know, make a pie with grandma, or we'd try to give you guys a task. It probably lasted about 10 minutes, and then you were like, not
I'm over
interested.
this.
As much as I want to season this meat to the smoker, I'm not interested in Grandpa in touching this.
Yeah, I do. It's the same thing though, as like, as a cousin, let's say, from my perspective, is like, it's hard having so much younger cousins.
Mhm.
Because I don't have very many people who are in the same like age bracket or even in the same like space, the same place in life that I am. That like, I don't feel like I fit in with the full adults because you all have kids and you're dealing with that, but then I don't fit in with the, you know, the last generation born. I don't fit in there either. I'm like, where am I in this group?
Yeah. my mom was the youngest of 5 kids, so I did have a lot of older cousins. And sometimes I actually can't believe how old my oldest cousins are. I'm like, wait, what? Like,
No
oh my
way.
gosh. I think I grew up with a lot of older cousins, and I don't feel like I know them very well or I'm close with them.
Yeah.
And honestly, very few of the older gal cousins would ever reach out to me or even send me a card in the mail or a birthday card, or like,
Well, yeah.
we're not close.
That's where I like got excited about having a younger girl cousin. Is I was like, I'm gonna do all the things because my older girl cousins didn't want to hang out with me when I was younger, so I want to try to be there.
You're gonna have to be the one that
I
puts the
need
effort
to
as
put in
they
the
grow up,
effort.
so they feel like you like them. But then also you're gonna have to start maintaining that relationship so they feel comfortable reaching out to you, and vice versa.
It's just hard.
You
when
have to
they're
participate.
It's hard when I can't text them.
I think I would say that would be the difference for me, is that if my older cousins didn't really ever, they were having kids probably when I was in middle school.
Yeah.
Because if I was 15, they were in their 30s. So it's like they probably were raising kids, and they did not think, oh, I should call her and say hello. And they weren't traveling. Majority of my cousins have lived out of state. I've had a couple that we only had like one uncle that lived in state over the years. And now they've passed away. And now 2 of his daughters live here, but it's like we're so busy. We live totally in a triangle around this whole huge city. We're not close together. We all have kids, or we have things we're dealing with. And then so we try. We all went out to dinner. It was fun.
Yeah, no, I think it's just still trying to make those communities.
It's caring what people are going through. It's forgiveness and not getting upset when people, if you really want your family to stay close, you kind of got to get off your high horse about all your opinions and like just say, you know what, can we just not talk about that? Yeah. The thing is if you have an issue with that with someone, like just don't barrage them with all of your opinions if they come over.
Yeah.
Don't make it weird.
Why you gotta make it weird, bro?
So if you could be more forgiving, be more open-minded, people could have some more compassion for what each other are going through. I know you guys have sometimes felt like people aren't reaching out and being there for you since your father passed away, and that hurt your feelings. But I also don't want you to move forward in life holding a grudge about that, because everybody deals with their stuff a little bit differently.
Well, yeah.
So it's
hard. Just think it goes down to like that like sense of community that I thought I had, and then realizing like it doesn't feel like I have a sense of community if people aren't, still reaching out to me. It's not like you need to ask me about how I'm doing because of my dad, but it's like, hey, how are you? What are you up to? Like, let's catch up. I'd love to get lunch. All the things. And maybe it's just because I feel like I'm still the kid to them. I always assume that people who are the oldest are always going to be the ones to reach out.
I always feel like it's the responsibility of the older parties.
That's what I say.
So to me, aunts and uncles would have the responsibility to reach out to nieces and nephews.
Yeah.
To create an openness and a relationship of them
Agreed.
knowing like, hey, I could come to you if something happened or I was upset, I had a fight with my mom. I want to
Yeah.
be able to know I can go to my aunt and cry and talk about it.
Exactly.
But older generations tend to always put they put the burden on younger people to show up and to call them and to reach out. And especially like people in their 70s and 80s, it's like they assume you always need to call, you need to show up. And that's just really not how it works. I know we all have that whole, oh, the phone works both ways, but in reality, it kind of does. There does need to be effort.
Well, yeah, it's the same thing as like, if I was talking about you or my dad, like I'm not responsible to be your parent to reach out and check in on you, right? Because it's a parent-child relationship that's kind of the same as like, parental role of like aunts and uncles and grandparents to reach out to their nieces, nephews, and grandchildren.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, I could probably call up my grandma today, but like,
let me ask you this.
Yeah.
I'm just curious of your point of view or your experiences on this. So dating, I know you haven't gotten married yet, but it's like when you're dating a guy, the level of effort of say his mother reaching out to you to get to know you or be friends with you, like, do you feel like that's something they should be doing? Do you feel like it, has anybody ever done that? Or do you think they don't, like, if you're just still dating? Like, I'm going to tell you, in my entire life, I've never had the mother of anyone I've ever dated try to be friendly with me or, like, be polite or sweet or invite me to something.
I think it depends on the mother and if she has a daughter. That is what I feel like I've realized is if they have a daughter, they understand, like, the closeness of, like, female friendships.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I don't know what it is. Like,
you think
if
mothers
they have
with
a
just
daughter,
sons don't necessarily.
It feels like mothers with sons, only sons, and no daughters, don't tend to want to build a relationship. And I don't know if it's because, we're just dating and could be temporary, whatever.
Yeah.
But it does feel a little like hard for me where I feel like a lot of moms like don't care about having a relationship with me.
Mm-hmm.
Where I'm like, I have this relationship with my mom, and especially if you don't have a daughter, like I would think you'd want a relationship with a daughter, like,
or they might think it's
who could
fun.
be your daughter-in-law. Like,
yeah,
you think it's fun to have somebody to call and chit chat and not talk about, sports or whatever. Like,
yeah,
I don't know, but it does seem like a lot of moms don't reach out.
So just know you haven't had anyone reach out, just to be more concise. So
I've had one who had a daughter, and that was the only one who ever like actively tried to build a relationship with me in my mind.
Yeah, I feel like I've actively tried to create a friendly relationship with anybody that you guys date, whether it be you or your brother.
Yeah.
I invite the girls that he dates, hey, do you want to go to lunch? Do you want to go get a pedicure? Do you just want to, like, hey, I'm going to run up to Starbucks. You want to come?
Yeah.
I'll buy. You know, or I've taken them out, like, to the zoo.
Yeah, you're trying to build that.
He's dating someone newer now, and I invited her and her mom to happy hour. Like, we do try to make a relationship, but I realize that's on me to not be a hermit and prevent any of that. But I have just noticed that, in contrast, I've never experienced it.
Did any of the people that you've dated, though, I mean, I guess the people that you dated did have daughters, or at least one of them that I know of had daughters too, and they still didn't reach out to you, which is interesting. But I also think that's a family dynamic thing that just could be slightly different.
I think there are mothers that have watched their sons date and don't want to get attached to girls because they come and go a little bit. And sometimes you might really like one and then they're gone. And like, say, they're a good person, then maybe not a good fit. And whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just more, I think, as some women, especially if their sons are older, like in their 30s, they're probably like, I don't want to get attached to any girl. But honestly, most of the guys I've dated, I'm kind of a serial monogamous. I don't date a lot.
Yeah.
And if I do and I go meet your parents, we're probably pretty serious.
Yeah.
And every time the parents are like, you've never brought anyone home before. I freak out. It's just you. And I'm like, yeah, it's always me. I'm very respectable to bring home to mom. Like, oh, I got that from the whole family with your dad. Like, I was 18.
Yeah.
They were like, he's never brought anyone ever. I was like, really?
I've gotten that too.
Is that good or bad?
I don't know. Like,
or I've had guys be like, I don't take people to meet my parents, and then they take me.
I do think that's like a dude thing though, is they don't take girls to go meet their parents unless it's like serious. And girls are like, hey, I'm already going to meet my mom and dad for lunch. You want to come? Like, you know, hey, this is someone I'm actively dating. And guys are just like, I don't know.
I think it varies. It depends on your whole family relationship.
That is true.
But
I don't know. It's like,
I was just contemplating if, I don't know. I just always feel like that's my responsibility if I want to be a beloved mother-in-law, is that I need to also be kind and foster that relationship and be, hey, I'm here if you need anything. I'm not mean and judgy. I'm here to help you, and I'm not imposing my rules on you.
Yeah.
But I haven't had a problem with.
I mean, that's
anybody.
how I feel as like a sister, where I'm like, I want to get to know the person you're dating too. One, because they're gonna be like, if you ever got married to this person, they would be my sister-in-law. Like, I want to have that special relationship too.
Yeah.
Because you are joining a family when you get married, especially. It's like,
yeah, that's a hard thing. I mean, I also grew up with no sisters, so it's definitely
something I want.
It's a crapshoot.
That's all I want is like, I didn't have sisters, so I'm just like, ooh, girl. And you like stinky boy brother? Okay.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. The guy I'm dating now, I remember meeting his sister for the first time at a restaurant out in the middle of the state they live in, and first thing she just looks at me and goes, why do you like him?
It's so different being a sister. Like, I'm sure you think the same thing about your own brothers, where you're like, what?
I'm like, I don't know.
I've smelled him when he was a teenager. Like, that was gross. I shared a bathroom with mine when I was a teenager. Why do you like him?
What's to like? Like, it's such a sister thing to be like,
why?
Ew.
Ew.
Why are you dating him?
You can do better.
He's dirty. No, I don't know. It was so funny.
It's that like different relationship though that you like have with your brothers, and you're just like, ew, I'd never, ew, gross.
Thank you for listening to Matriarch Alchemy.